what have you been up to this week? It's been I've seen you in real life this week, but you seem to be sporting a new haircut.
Been for a haircut, lunch break, definitely lunch break, boss.
That's on your designated lunch break, not at any other time. Completely designated.
Fine. Lunch break.
It's okay. Your boss ain't gonna watch this. You'll be all right. I think we'll be okay.
Got this running joke with my barber that I've had for about 10 years now, and he's like, every time, can you cut all the grey out, please, mate? And he's like, no, you will have no hair. Oh, thanks very much. To cut my hair, I'm going. Anyway, so I went to see a wide format printer the other day. Yeah. And they do a lot of campaign work. Yeah. So they have a scenario where they get an order for like, I don't know, 100, 10 different things. Yeah. That need to go to 100 different stores. Yeah. And they produce them. And presently, the way they do it is they put all of the like smaller format stuff all together on one sheet and print that on the Fomex or whatever it is it's going to be. And then they were looking for a better way of doing it. And so explain to me what we do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty common, doesn't it? Of like campaign stuff coming in and needing to like gang the printing or plan the printing efficiently and then distribute it as well, sort of turn it around and ship it out to places. Let me start showing you maybe what I think of a couple of these things. So this is, I guess pretty standard for anything anywhere. You've got here are your products that you're doing, a few of them coming across. Here are all of your stores, and this one's having 3 of that, 1 of that. This week, none of those stores are having anything. They're all empty. 1 of them, 3 of them, and this goes down for thousands. Whole retail chain, whatever's in the country. Pick up all of the different stores. They're all listed on this database. And perhaps some weeks, maybe this is a weekly thing for people. Maybe not.
I noticed those addresses are US addresses, but this would work if it was a worldwide shipping or whatever it is, or if it's coming directly from the UK or France or Germany or whatever. Yeah.
Don't lose too much sleep over that. Yeah, it's just a US data set we're using for this, but if it's UK, Germany, France, wherever, we've got customers doing this in France and the UK and the US, so this is normal stuff. Okay, so you start life with something like this. You've probably seen in lots of places different things. They're all roughly the same flavor of that, I would say. So what we have in our PACE system, we've got a tool called Universal Importer. And what this is able to do is import that data. You've got a template against your estimate. You need to, in this case, I've got to say what customer I'm using, and I've got to go and choose my file.
So importer just works on estimates?
It can just work on estimates, but it can also work on shipping, it can work on jobs, it can work on price lists. There's all kinds of things that it can pick itself up on.
That's why they call it Universal Importer.
Universal Importer. The clue is in the name. It's not just...
went into that one, didn't they? Okay, cool.
I'm sure marketing spent a long time working out what to call this thing, and they went, well, you can import against any object in the entire database. Why don't we call it Universal Importer? Okay, that works.
So rather than just job importer or an estimate importer, you can import against almost everything in the data set, basically.
Yeah, against anything. You can certainly import against anything. Within a single importer, they have to be linked in the data set. So you can't go import random stuff against JDF output devices and against estimates at the same time. Those things aren't going to work. But
that makes sense.
Keep it sensible and logical, and you'll be fine with it.
Anyway, back to
reverse. So I've run the importer. It's imported my product information about it, and it's kind of a 2-stage process. So I've imported it. I've got different medias, different materials in this, and I've got to go and find the estimate that has gone and created. So it's come up at the top of my list. It's the UK store signage demo, and I've got to go and calculate my estimate. So the importer dumps the data in the database. Then you have to go and run a calculation to go and get it to optimize and plan and all the things that you'd want it to go and do on that.
So some of these are banners.
Yeah, some of these are banners, large and small, different sizes. That one's a different material as well, so that's
Okay.
going to work itself out a different way.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it's generating me a price. I can go and give it to my customer. I can send them a quote letter, all of those things that I can go and do with that. So
Just clicking that one button, basically.
just by clicking that one button, well, it's kind of two buttons. You import it with one button and you calculate it with a second button. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it's essentially done that with those things. And if this is regular work for somebody, you're just going to import their spreadsheet every week because maybe the pricing's less important because you've already pre-agreed your rates and you just want to make a job. So import your records, go and make this over into a job. Make a job is a really simple process on this. There's no issue with creating things, putting your dispatch dates into it. All of those things just flow through. Picking out whatever you want. I've got various different quantities, so it's going to put all of those in and we'll go and make our job. And our job, all of the good things in production happen in this process as well. So they are the standard things of production plans, all of that stuff gets created. So anything you need to manufacture this job, we'll hit the right button there, gets created at the same time. So all of those little things, pre-flight proofing, all my different stages, bringing it all together for the final packing and stuff, all that happens.
Look at that.
So, if you had 10 of these or you had 20 items or 100 items even, it would still work the same way. It just scales up something a bit bigger. So the other thing, you talked about this universal importer and going back to our spreadsheet, we've done this kind of part to it. We've told it what products we have to go and make, but we haven't told it any of this stuff. Where are these things going to go to? And clues in the name universal importer, we use it again a second time. So this is just my way of showing you that we're not cheating stuff here. This is live. So we're looking at our shipments for our job number. So you can see we've got none. So at the moment, no idea where this job's going. I've created my job. I've got all my items. I know what I'm going to produce, but I've no idea where I'm going to send it to or who I'm going to send it to. Obviously, my spreadsheet knows. We've seen it on the spreadsheet. So we need to run another importer. So if we just have a look here, we'll take shipment importer here.
So that's a template you've created, yeah?
It's another template.
Could have different templates for different customers if they supplied the information slightly differently, yeah?
Correct. And because what you tend to find is that this customer always supplies it like this. Every single week or every month, it's exactly the same way. So you build a template that reads their data and then you know it's repeatable. Every time you need it, it's going to repeat itself through. So in this case, I've got to tell it the job number. So that's 45489. And I've got to go and find my file. So again, I'll take that same file, drag it in. Wait those 5 seconds while it does that import. And it gives us a little message and it tells us it's finished it and all of those stores have come in. It's listed the items that they've got. And you remember we had no shipments in here at all at the beginning. If I refresh that browser page now, you'll see we've got 81 shipments in there now. And this one's having that sign, clearance sign and the small banner. This one's having the free banner, another free banner. All the way down this, they're unique addresses, the address details are all in. They've got unique store identifiers. You can see the numbers of them. They're all the separate things that they're going to be. And it's picking all of those products out for it as well.
That's good, really good. That saves so much time, doesn't it? Then
if you think about the time that somebody would spend manually writing that stuff in or keying it, it's not just the time they save, it's the errors they save. Because your customers entering it on a spreadsheet, they're probably not entering on a spreadsheet, are they? They're exporting it out of their system with the details that they want for that week. So the closer you can get to exporting from one system straight to another system, but the beauty of this is I do this, you don't need to be an API coder, developer, that kind of level of person. You can do it as an ordinary user who understands a little bit about the database. It's really that designed to be that simple for it.
So these signs, how are they printed up on a sheet? Can we do it so that, I mean, I'm assuming that if they're all on a 5mm Foamex, it will attempt to plan as many as it can up on your boards that you've got.
Okay. So let's go back in time a bit. So I've jumped too quick for you, haven't I? I've jumped straight into the right. Here's the estimate request. Right, here's the job. It's gone. Right. What else do you want to know? Right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing, really, isn't it? Because you can see how quick it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess there is that side to it. So, in this particular case, I know how I'm going to plan these because I do them every week. So I'm just putting my quantities in. So I don't want to use stuff like imposition tools or ganging tools because I just know what I'm going to do.
Okay,
But
cool.
we could do that here. So we use metrics. If we put our estimate number in, we've got all those products there, and we can say, except for that last one that's on a different material, that's going to be on its own anyway. But all of these, go and use metrics and calculate it. So I've used one of our quick little editing tools to change the status of stuff, hit recalculate again. And what it's going to do is it sends that information to metrics. It's the quantities, the sizes, the materials, and it says, go and make me a production plan that's going to make my stuff fit my sheet better.
Oh, okay. And I'm guessing because it's using metrics, that's probably going to take 20, 30 seconds or something because it goes through and looks at all the different ways of being able to do it.
Yeah. So, I always say this to people. I hate demoing it because I say, look, I'm going to have to talk for 30 seconds while this does its stuff. But remember the real world. We've both come from real worlds where you've had to do estimates in real life and you've drawn them out on sheets of paper. You can't do it in 30 seconds. So let's just...
The best guess, really, don't you? Because the permutations can be massive.
Oh, yeah. Well, and think of it another way. What if my customer comes in and changes that quantity? What if he says something different to me? I've got to rework the whole lot out, whereas you could just update it in here and let it recalculate. So it gives me these layouts. It's kind of found me 2 or 3 different layouts. These are rolls as well. It's not just looking at sheets and flat things. It's actually putting it on a roll for me and saying this is a good way to produce it. And again, minimal touch there. Again, I often say to people, it may not be the absolute perfect best ever way you could make it. If you spent 8 hours working out your best way across 100 different layouts, you might get something better manually. But for speed and ease, it's considering your materials, it's trying to reduce your material usage all the time, especially in wide format world. That's what it is really aiming at. It's reducing expensive stuff.
Yeah, because that would, I mean, if you were going to gang that up as a human being, you're going to try and keep even numbers most of the time and minimal, because the difference between wide format and litho is like with the litho, you'd be looking at minimal plates, longer runs, minimal plates, wide format. Well, you don't have any overs, do you? So you're going to use minimum sheet requirement. Yeah. And from what they said to me, that we can change that on a press by press setting, can't we? So if it's looking at a Speedmaster or whatever it is, it'll use the litho way of working it out and getting less plates. And when it's a wide format device, it will optimize the sheets rather than the number of runs, as it were. So because you've got smaller and everything.
Yeah, so there's 3 different algorithms that it is using to work out how best to make it. You're getting a little bit into the geeky world of how they actually work, but broadly, you've got your litho one where you're making a plate, and it's a litho kind of machine. You're going to make a plate. You want to reduce the number of plates you're going to make because they are the expensive bit, and make readies are expensive. So let's change that. In the pure wide format world where you are doing nothing but large display items, your materials are expensive and you don't ever make a plate because it's 100% digital. You don't even have screen presses. You're just running completely digital things. And the most important thing for you is producing the exact quantity with no wastage and maximizing the sheet utilization, whether that's rolls or sheets. That's your second method. Your third method is almost a bit of a hybrid one, which says, well, I want to give a little bit of control to somebody who says, you can have some allowable overs here. So yes, I'm in display graphics, I'm in wide format, but I'm prepared to run a few extras of each of these parts if it helps me make something else a little bit more efficient. And you call it tolerable overs, so that it can consider that. It might totally ignore it because it still might be cheaper doing it a different way, but it's just giving a little bit of flexibility to estimators who still, let's face it, want to have a bit of control over the black box that does it in the background.
You just accused me of being a bit geeky, and you've just come up with all that, you know.
I mean, that's the non-geeky version. Imagine the geeky version of it.
I don't want a geeky version. No geeky version. Okay, cool. Well, that sounds really good. Okay, I'll go back and have a word with him and see what he says.
Perfect. Well, enjoy your new haircut. Don't go knocking the town out too much tonight.
Yes, that won't be happening. All right, cheers, mate.
See you later.
Bye.